So hi, Lonely Guys Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
It's a Throwback Tuesday. It's a Throwback Thursday recorded on a Tuesday, posted on a Monday. Sorry to throw things off. You know, we had such a good streak going on of recording the Throwback Thursdays on Thursdays, and this week, you know, we just had to throw the curveball. We can't keep things consistent forever. Things happen, things change, we adapt, we grow, we move on, we ball.
We ball. Fuck it, we ball. Got
we
that
ball.
shit on my side. Yup. I forget about it.
I know that this album came out 2 years ago at this point. It's the name of the series, Throwback Review. So I know we're not throwing it back very far, and this is the most recent Fall Out Boy album.
I don't like when you say that. I don't. It's like.
What? We're throwing it back?
We're throwing it. You're throwing it back.
I'm throwing it back. Glory's
I'm
just
listening to music. You know?
I know that it's the most recent album, and we talked about it on the podcast, but it's not a standalone review on the podcast, and the series is called Throwback Reviews. Hence why the title is a throwback review. So before anyone comments, because we've gotten this before when we've done bands' most recent albums.
Throwback review. This just came out 2 years ago.
Exactly. It's the name of the series. We are fully aware how stupid the title looks. It's gonna pain me to type it in on YouTube Monday morning when I upload this 30 minutes before it's supposed to go out. But just setting the tone now, making sure everybody knows that we are fully aware. With that being said, this is the last Fall Out Boy album in the discography, and then that we reviewed the whole goddamn thing. We listened to every Fall Out Boy release,
and now the band explodes.
Yeah, they're over. They're done.
They're done. Yeah,
we're chatting about their 2023 album, So Much for Stardust. You know, last week Glory was talking about how Mania is the best Fall Out Boy album, best post-hiatus Fall Out Boy album, whatever. And she's got an opinion, that's for sure. Definitely a strong opinion.
And I'm learning. I'm not surprised at all, but it is a rare take. Yeah. I was talking to my friend who's like a big Fall Out Boy fan, and she was like, no, it took a second, but you know, it's good. I was like, so you don't think it's the best record ever? No. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine. That, I mean, it was my, I guess, my favorite post-hiatus record for a bit, but like I discussed, I had listened to Mania, I had listened to Say Rock and Roll once. That was my entire scope of the post-hiatus Fall Out Boy era. But this is my favorite post-hiatus Fall Out Boy album, hands down. You know, we're not ranking the albums at the end of this, but this would fall just under my top three because the three records before the hiatus, From Under the Cork Tree, Infinity on High, Folly You Do, are my favorite Fall Out Boy records, hands down. But this one comes in right under those. You know, they went back to the producer that they did From Under the Cork Tree with, and you know, we're talking a lot about during this half of the review series about, you know, feeling, you know, seeing they're very much a sonic shift in the band, and I feel like this record is a return to form while also continuing to grow on those new sounds that they started doing in the post-hiatus era. Hence why I enjoy it so much, because there are plenty of callbacks to the pre-hiatus stuff, as well as still straight up pop songs. The lyrics on this album are also miles better than the entirety of the past.
Pete Wentz got the pen back.
The past 10 years leading up to this album, they somehow just locked back in and wrote solid lyrics again, which was something I always really appreciated about this band, and one of the reasons why, you know, the post-hiatus era is not my favorite is because they just kind of forgot how to write lyrics there for a few records. You know, so I think that this album's incredibly solid. I love the way it opens with Love from the Other Side. You know, that twinkling, like very big orchestra opening is really sets the tone for the album. Hold Me Like a Grudge, I texted Gloria this. I'm like, I think that this might be Fall Out Boy's best song.
That's crazy.
Shit goes insane. It's so catchy. It's got that thick ass bass line to open up.
Prominent.
And I love a good thick bass line. And the chorus on that song is just so big and catchy. Like, I think that should have been like the single with the album. You know, the album singles were dripped out in the way that the album starts, with Love from the Other Side opening up, Heartbreak Feels So Good coming out a little bit after that, and then Hold Me Like a Grudge being the focus track with the album. But I felt like that one should have been the song, because that song is so big, and I wish that it would get more of a moment. Granted, it's very prominent at the top of the album, but I think that should be the goddamn song right there. That song is phenomenal, and from the first time I heard it, I'm like, that is the song right there. I also really like I Am My Own Muse. It's a little bit on the weird. It's a little bit on the weirder side. Yeah. I get like sea shanty vibes from it for some reason.
I get it. Yeah. No, I hear it.
Like I could see it in the background, like Sea of Thieves for some fucking reason, but it's
oh, okay, well I didn't get that, but hell yeah
it's another one of those super big songs. That's what this album is littered with, very big songs, but they have the lyrics to back it up this time around. Across the board with the album, you know, even the big songs on the previous records, lyrics were still very much like going for that arena anthem rock thing, and like they conquered that. They conquered that multiple times over, and then did it to the biggest you can possibly do it with Centuries. So they've already conquered that. So now they went and wrote the two things they were good at, which is writing great lyrics and writing big arena songs, and put it together in this album. And I just think it creates a phenomenal listening experience. There's plenty of variety on the album as well. You know, it opens up big and then very quickly kind of fades out and gets on the slower side with Fake Out, which is not a favorite of mine because of that reason. You're coming off of Hold Me Like a Grudge, which is my peak on the album. It's track 3. That's my peak on the album right there. And then it immediately really slows down with Fake Out and Heaven, Iowa, which, you know, for me is a vibe killer right away. But I don't think that those songs are bad. It's solely just on the track list flow. So Good Right Now picks things back up. That's a very pop sensible song, like what I was talking about, the two sides of Fall Out Boy coming together in this album. And then So Much for Stardust to close off the album is a phenomenal closer. And then they decided, in the time that I haven't listened to this record, they decided to put We Didn't Start the Fire as the bonus track, which that song goes hard. You know, but for me, the album closes on So Much for Stardust. And I think it's a phenomenal closer. This record, man, front to back, fantastic. I hadn't listened to it in a minute, so I gave it a spin this morning, although I could have reviewed it not having heard it again. And it's so good. It's definitely one of my favorite Fall Out Boy albums. I love this fucking band. I love this album.
Damn straight. I completely agree. I think this is after their hiatus, post hiatus drops. I think they were trying to kind of find their way. I mean, they were experimenting with different sounds and trying to basically stand out of the crowd of, you know, Common and, you know, every trend that was happening in rock. I don't know what the fuck I would classify Fall Out Boy as. I just saw them in a biggest blanket genre ever, rock. What was going on in, you know, modern rock at the time. And at times flailing, mania, which I love it for that reason, because it is so out of the ordinary, but at the same time still followed the trend that all of the bands from that era were doing. As we said, you know, fucking Panic at the Disco had that, fucking Green Day had that moment. It's like all of the bands kind of went, should we all try like pop for like 2 seconds?
Should we just get really weird and like forget how to write songs for a second?
Exactly. Should our lyrics be like the worst, you know, in our entire history of the band right now? And fuck, man, I ate that shit up. It's still my favorite record. That is my #1 Fall Out Boy record.
What a time to enjoy alternative music, because that was the time you and I were both really getting into it.
And it was because it made it so easy, because it was accessible, and it was oh my god, it wasn't like offensive to my ears. It wasn't like, no, you know, because it wasn't super heavy or it wasn't complicated, but it was still just rich,
Mhm.
you know, to listen to. Oh, I'm saying, oh, I'm adding that to my
Ooh.
little vocabulary. It's rich, sonically rich. So with this record, I feel like if you're a fan of safe rock and roll, and if you liked elements of Mania, I think that's what So Much for Stardust is, because it has a lot of theatrical opera elements, with kind of the funk and pop elements of Mania, but it seems like it isn't as vast and open and scary as Mania is, with just the amount of ground they covered and amount of weirdness that they shoved into, it was like what, 35, 40 minutes
Mhm.
maybe. This one, it is a lot more laser focused, kind of sound wise. They all sound like they were written around the same time. I'm not sure if that's true, but it sounds like it was written as an album, where Mania just sounds like it's a record full of singles ready for radio takeover.
Yeah.
So, this record is fucking phenomenal. I am not mad at it at all. I think honestly, it's probably my second or third favorite Fall Out Boy record.
Mhm.
I completely agree. I think Hold Me Like a Grudge is fucking incredible, thick ass bass line, great song. My personal favorite though is probably the opener, Love from the Other Side, because to me it has that Mania aspect. Because it's big and it is, you can't miss it. Obviously it's the first song on the record, so you're gonna have to fucking listen to it whether you want to or not. But it is just such a catchy, like toe tapping song that you just have to move to. I also really enjoyed the closer, So Much for Stardust. I Am My Own Muse is also fucks. I believe that's the one that has kind of like a disco theme in it. Maybe 70s did. I don't know if that was a, I don't know. But either way, I think this song and this album, everything about it is incredible. Strings, horns, they do fucking everything on it and somehow still make it digestible and a full package. It's great. Whereas I said Mania, they got a little weird.
Yeah, they did
They
their
got
own
a little
thing.
weird. Exactly. So it's, you know, the complexity and crisp richness
Oh.
of Mania, but with kind of like this streamline uh accessibility as Save Rock and Roll. I hope that makes sense.
Does.
But again, it felt very operatic. It felt
Oh.
theatrical. It felt big. So honestly, I think it's like they finally found their niche in rock. Fucking 20 years in. 20 years in. Uh Better late than never, but you know, the journey to get here has also been riddled with incredible tracks, incredible records. If you've watched, you know, start to finish this review series, I mean, we've both always had something good to say about every single record, except maybe the first one.
Even the one that we didn't like,
Yeah.
I know I at least found something to say that was remotely positive.
I don't think I said anything positive. I think I was like, this shit is just, you know, rip off Blink 182.
It's just
Fuck
bad.
it. No, thumbs down. But no, big fan of this record. I think it's incredible. I think it is the perfect stepping stone. It makes sense that this came after Mania. So yeah, I think they had fun with it, and I think the fans adore it as well. It's great.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, those are our thoughts on Fall Out Boy's 2023 album, So Much for Stardust. And that concludes the Fall Out Boy discography dive. I can't believe it's over. Looked at the
Yeah.
calendar 2 months ago, and I'm like, God damn, going to be spending the next 9 weeks of our lives talking about Fall Out Boy. Never thought that I'd do that. So, been fun diving through. Next, we're jumping into Pierce the Veil's discography, because why not go from a pop rock band to a post-hardcore band? It
I'm so excited.
Totally makes sense in the genre, and we're totally not just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
It makes. I mean, to be fair, before Fall Out Boy, we did Bring Me the Horizon. So
yeah,
just,
okay, but there was they toured together. Come on,
they toured. I mean, I'm sure Fall Out Boy and Pierce the Veil have interacted. They've been on the same tour lineup, maybe festival lineup.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
Warped Tour probably at some point.
When we were young, You know, I'm pretty sure.
There you go.
Somewhere.
So if you like Pierce the Veil, we're going to be diving into their discography next. But you can follow us on Instagram. It's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. Audio streaming service is Good Noise Podcast. And Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. It helps us out a ton. It's also the only place that we post these throwback reviews. And other than that, I've been Shane.
I've been Glory.
And we've been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.